Favor. This is one more, please. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Otra Por Favor.
Otra, por favor.
Otra, por favor.
Episodio número 35.
35, no te creo.
Uy, aunque no me creas, ya tiene 35.
No, hombre, ya está muy viejo.
Y a mí se me estaba olvidando. ¿Qué está más viejo, el podcast o yo?
No, tú.
It's alright, pero yo soy como el vino, güey.
Age ain't nothing but a
Ándale. Entre más soy como el vino, el
Entre
queso.
más apestoso, mejor.
Sí.
Ese es el queso, güey.
Es el queso.
No, pero...
I get to, to age. I feel like, do you feel like as you're aging, how do you feel compared to when you were younger to now? Like,
honestly, like, I feel the same way.
sí.
Honestly.
Now, that's a bad thing if you feel the
I know.
same.
I guess it is because I feel the same and I only feel it when I have to, like, compete, especially in soccer.
Yeah.
Like, I feel it there, but not in general. Like, I feel the same, like the same guy, the same. I don't know, man. I guess this is how it was maybe 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you want to feel the same or you want to feel different?
That's a good question. I don't know, man. I feel good.
I mean, now you're American citizen. You already have a couple of weeks with your citizenship.
Hey.
That's an accomplishment.
America.
Hey.
If you were to pick between playing for the U.S. or El Salvador, who would you play for at this moment?
At this moment, man, I don't want people to get mad at me. I'm not gonna answer that.
Now you gotta
just throw a name, dude. Like I've been putting out myself first now. Go ahead. No, it's fine if you don't want to answer it.
I will pick the Selecta.
Is it like that?
Yeah, I will pick that.
I respect that.
Yeah, because they need it most than the US. You know what I mean?
And would you feel better playing there?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will feel like
you feel it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough asking.
And I love the US. And don't get me wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
This is my country.
Right.
Ours.
It's our country.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm getting there.
No.
It's ours.
Technically, it's our country. We were living here for so long.
We've contributed.
Yeah. So
it's
our country. And
doesn't matter what a paper tells us.
Exactly.
That I do believe. I pay more taxes than probably anyone out there. That
no, and you know what? That's
way more taxes I pay.
And that's why I think that's my vision, and that's why I think about what it is. It's a paper, right? It's a document that I'm getting. So it's nothing more or less, So I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, I think because you haven't had you came in with something already. But you haven't had where you don't have something,
Yeah.
where you have to wait for so long to get something. I think that's why you probably feel
and that's probably what.
And which is fine. I mean,
Right.
there's nothing wrong with that. Like I think it's a valid thing to fear. But no, it's all good, man.
I mean, I feel good.
It's your feelings.
I'm gonna vote now. So
who are you gonna vote for?
Shout out to voting.
Shout out to voting. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. That's a big. How do you call it? It's the reason like Trump. Cheetos. But no, that's good. I'm glad you got it, man. You got it done, man. I think it kind of, in a way, gives you a sense of peace of mind to have, a citizenship.
Yeah.
And especially in the US because you can contribute more, like you said. And the whole point is to keep contributing.
Yeah. And I think that's why. You know what? I wanted to do it because I wanted to vote. That was I wanted my voice to be heard, and I wanted to do my duty.
Well, now you get a chance to vote on the May elections.
Yeah,
which is a topic. Our topic for today is gonna be,
ooh,
that
segue.
That is gonna be added to the ballot and
algo calentito.
Aquí sacamos ay, I have never tried it. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yo también no sé ni qué se siente.
Sí, wait, we were talking about right here, Coque no ha hecho nada. ¿Cómo estás, Coque? Platícanos.
Sí,
I'm good. Good as fuck.
Good.
No, honestly, congrats. Again, becoming a citizen, man, it's a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, when
Yeah.
I'm a little bitch for like national propaganda, sometimes when I hear the national anthem, se me enchina la piel, I get that little goosebumps.
Yeah.
Simón.
Yeah,
Both.
yeah.
The U.S. anthem, the Mexican anthem, the Salvadorian anthem.
Yeah, three-way.
All of them.
I know
Hell
this,
yeah.
this,
Good.
this guy got 3 anthems, man.
Yeah.
I feel all 3 of them, dude.
Ah, shit.
So it's tough when if I got a question like
And if
you
Puerto
asked-
Rico had an anthem,
Puerto
I
Rico.
feel that shit. No,
Perre, perre.
they got an anthem. I think it's like what Bad Bunny or Daddy Yankee song. Gasolina.
Mark
I think
Anthony.
Gasolina.
That's a
Or Mark Anthony. My wife's gonna kill me.
or yeah, we're for sure we already like the 2 Puerto Rican friends that we had. There
They're
goes the
gone.
friendship.
Yeah. I bet it's gonna be like, fuck this guy.
No, but no matter where we're from, we're here. This country's given us a lot. We're the
Yeah.
opportunity to succeed and do our thing and have this podcast. And now we're gonna talk about a very hot topic.
Yeah, it's a hot topic. We're gonna talk about legalizing marijuana, or also known as cannabis,
Devil's
Gacha.
lettuce.
also known as la
dragon.
caquita de chango,
Caca de chango.
el
Caca de burro.
caquita
Caca
del
de
diablo,
caballo.
es la caca de vaca, caca de chivo.
Many names.
Man, it's a subject that I feel like the legalization of cannabis or marijuana, it's inevitable in the U.S. It's bound to happen. It has happened on red states. It has happened on blue states, and it also has happened on purple states.
Yeah.
But there's just so many, I would say, pros and cons to marijuana, and now it's the industry of cannabis. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. I mean, a lot of money in the pools. But then there again, there's a lot of things that we kind of did a little bit of research on, or got to understand the meaning of the legalization and how it impacted the communities that were within that state that legalized cannabis. For example, Colorado and California, which is, I would leave, 2 of the states that started promoting it more than other states. But it varies between countries. The legalization, it could be mixed. You can have medicinal,
And that's
but
okay,
that's it.
right?
Yeah, or you can have fully legalized, which is recreational and medical. I mean, I don't know much about the strains. I don't know much about the types. I only know like THC is the one that has the substance que te pone hasta las nubes.
Ay.
Y CBD is the one that keeps you,
En
a
la
little more
tierra.
calm. Yeah. But what do you guys feel about the legalization of and cannabis in general? What are your thoughts?
Well, can I just say, well, en mi cultura, por ejemplo, y lo voy a decir en español porque es como lo siento, ¿no?
Dale.
No.
Dale.
Y en la cultura de una familia que creció con la religión, que creció con diferentes creencias, por decirlo así, ser marihuano, ¿no? La palabra marihuano simplemente que eres un... Cuando yo estaba pequeño, la palabra marihuano significaba para mí ser un vagabundo, ser una persona que no tenía futuro, ser una persona que andaba robando, ser una persona que era mala para la sociedad en general.
Ujú.
Era mi concepto de un marihuano. En realidad la palabra no la entendía como marihuana, que de donde viene, ¿no? De marihuana.
Ujú.
Y nunca me imaginé que un marihuano, como lo decían, era una persona que fumaba que fumaba un cigarrillo de hierbas.
Ujú.
En mi vida, cuando era chavo, nunca lo imaginé.
¿Qué pensaste que era?
Es lo que te estoy diciendo. Un marihuano para mí era una persona que robaba, una persona que vagabundo, una persona que no tenía futuro y una persona que era malo en general. Eso era para mí un marihuano.
No por la sustancia en sí.
Y
No la conocías.
No la conocía.
Ok.
La gente le llamaba marihuano a cualquier persona, ¿no? Marihuano.
¿Por qué traes los ojos rojos?
No me expongas. No me expongas.
No, explain.
Y así era, ¿no? El concepto. Y llegué aquí a los Estados Unidos, ¿no? Y escuché de la marihuana, ¿no? Marihuana. Marihuana es una hierba. Te la fumas y te pone en diferente estado de emoción, en diferente estado mental.
Ajá.
Y fue hasta aquí que llegué a los Estados Unidos cuando entendí exactamente lo que un marihuano allá en mi país era, ¿no? Una persona que fumaba marihuana, una persona que se drogaba, por decirlo así, ¿no? Y es muy diferente porque ahora soy una persona adulta. De niño no entendía muy bien y ahora entiendo que una persona que fuma marihuana no es una persona que roba, una persona que es mala, una persona que tiene diferentes atributos o una diferente experiencia a lo que a lo mejor yo, que no soy marihuano, lo hace, ¿no?
Sí.
Y no sé si ustedes tengan la misma forma de pensar que cuando yo tenía esa edad.
Okay. ¿Qué piensas?
What do you think?
Yeah, similar to David. Yeah, I come from a similar background where based on our family history and our family values and our just that Catholic upbringing, it was very looked down upon subject of marijuana and any drug user in general.
Mm-hmm.
If you partook in any type of marijuana activity, you're the same as any type of drug user. It's like the same amount of negativity that's associated with that, and things that people in the drug world do. And it's viewed as a criminal, immoral activity, and that's kind of how that's how I grew up thinking about it. And growing up on the north side of Houston, Texas, it's unavoidable. You go out, you walk in the streets, and you smell it. And you're like, well,
caquita de chango.
Huela que me estoy relajando.
There's some shit going down. This is what they told me to avoid. So, but it's unavoidable. You have friends that do it, and you're part of it, and you have to make that decision. And even in throughout the school system, like the 5th, 6th grade, I remember the DARE program. I remember the DARE.
There, yeah.
I forgot what it stood for. Like
drugs are really empathetic.
You're just making shit up. No.
We're making shit up. But the whole point was to abstain from drugs and not do any of that shit. And you know, we had the shirts and the little fucking lion. You know what I mean? But it was funny because my experience with it was throughout middle school and high school. I had friends that did it, and there were times where I would have this offered. Yeah. Hey, do you want to take a little hit? And I was always like, nah, you know what? This is not for me. You know, I'm an athlete.
He's like,
soy futbolista. Like that's gonna affect my lungs.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do this. I'm sorry. The notion started to change for me when I went to college, because I realized that I wasn't gonna be a professional athlete. So you start to experiment a little bit, and you start to gain a little bit of understanding of what it actually is, what we're actually criticizing and you know thinking of criminal activity, and you start to realize like I've made worse decisions on alcohol than I have on marijuana.
The only bad decision is you eat all the Cheetos.
Exactly. Like I've done more things that I regret with alcohol than with marijuana.
Yeah.
So that simple thing made me realize like I've been looking at this in a totally different way, and maybe there's more to this than I'm thinking about. So
voy a sacar el tanque. Oh, dame el tanque.
Yes, sir.
Ahí tenemos otros dos por si las dudas.
Dale.
Como todo, like
dale.
everything, dude. If you don't know
Simón.
about it and you're just criticizing from the outside, you're not going to make an educated decision.
Mm-mm.
Exactly.
So I started, you kind of grow your network, you make friends with people, and you understand their lifestyle, your lifestyle. You kind of share things and experiences, and you realize that, hey, maybe we're looking at this in a totally wrong way. So
Right.
for me, it was something that once I got older, I started to look at differently and started to understand the pros and cons, but also some of the benefits that you can get from partaking in marijuana activities and things.
But that's the
Recreational.
thing. That's the thing that happens. You
Yeah.
don't get. I don't want to call it education, but it's like you don't get the correct information about it. You know, and we just guess. Like especially when you're a teenager, you don't know what the fuck is going on with you, so you just try shit. You know, you wanna be different. You wanna do this. You wanna do that. And then that's what happens. If you will get the correct information, you know, about marijuana, you do it, you know, regardless, you know, or anything, because at the end of the day, it makes you feel good. It doesn't make you violent. It doesn't make you, you know, there's a lot of information that can make you want to do it, you know, and when you're young, you really don't fuck with information. You just do it. And
you're just going off vibes and your environment and your friends.
Yeah. You just want to belong to something, right? So if somebody's doing it, I'll do it. Fuck it, you know? And that's what happens. I mean, I'm going to say it happened to me, you know? People were doing it. It looked cool. Man, fuck it. Why not?
Yeah.
Here you go, you know, and try it. And, I mean, honestly, it made me feel good. And like Coco was saying, I probably made fucking dumber ass decisions when I was drunk than when I was high, you know? And people don't even notice that, you know?
Yeah.
Man, I would like, for me personally, when I grew up like in a Christian background, and it was very, very strict in some aspects. So you had someone in the altar always saying how he used to smoke a lot of weed and go to parties and this and that. But then he became a Christian, and then his life changed, which is like, that's cool. But the same thing that happened to you, it would not happen to anyone else, because it's your own conviction. I mean, I believe in convictions, and every conviction is different. So, but then I grew up in a place where every time you drink a beer, or you thought about, you even made a joke about a beer or a secular song. Oh, you were looked like you were about to, you were part of the devil. Like, oh, what, you're listening to Tupac or this and that, like, and it cost for rebellion more than any benefit. So, I was dating this girl, and I'm a happily married man, but I was dating this girl that she liked smoking weed, but she wouldn't try not to do it in front of me, just because we were she knew I was Christian, and she wanted to to respect that part. And I felt like I kind of feel like a shitty person, because I grew up with the mentality of, if you smoke weed, you're doing something wrong. But in reality, like, this person had a good job. I mean, they had everything was from their side responsible, probably contributing more than someone that doesn't smoke weed and goes to church every weekend, at my point of view, in a community. But it grew up with just making it seem like every time you talked about marijuana, it was a thing that was going to cause you to have addictions and be like twitching all the time. But then as I got older, I stayed away from this environment that I felt like I wasn't growing. And I wanted to experience more of, I wanted to be more open-minded about things and why people do certain things. So when the first time I tried it, I understood why everyone had a thing for marijuana. Like, now I did it with a little more of an open mind. Like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. I want to see why people feel like it's good. And it wasn't a bad experience. I mean, it was like, why? I mean, it felt, even like you said, like, compared to, like when you drink beer and we get drunk, it's actually like a lot more relaxing. You're just at home. Yeah. The only thing you have to worry about is make sure you have enough snacks, because you're going to get the munchies. But
you're going to be hungry.
You're going to be hungry. Yeah. But then I just feel like, why is this particular substance causing so much revolt around people that don't like it and people that like it? Like, it's one of those, at the end of the day, like I feel like it is gonna be legal, but it also caused so much people to go to jail because of having an ounce, 2 ounces of marijuana and selling it or whatnot. I mean, I heard of someone die and get killed in front of a drug dealer's house because of, a bad deal.
I mean, yeah.
And so from that, it's like, you know what? I thought about it, like we should talk about this, and as we were discussing what to talk about, I felt like it would be a good subject to talk about because there's a lot of, pros, that we see from cannabis and marijuana. It comes from different shapes and different, products.
Yeah.
It can be in a gummy, it can be in a brownie, it can be in a cookie,
Yeah.
it can be in, in whatever. But another thing that like it seems to help some people calm down, and then from what I heard, it's also people that have epileptic problems. They can be able to relax them.
Right.
There was this one video of a guy that his daughter had schizophrenic attacks, and for a while, like all he will have to do until they go away is hold her down and then give her medication. But then one day he's like, you know what? They told her, hey, why not give her weed? So he ended up giving her weed, and she actually calmed down within, like instead of giving her for to smoke, because I mean she was also mentally ill or impaired. So instead of giving it to her like to smoke, they would put it on like oxygen, like similar to oxygen, so she can breathe it in.
Yeah.
And you can see her like from shaking and having an attack
To
to
relax.
calming down
Yeah.
and just going like this and just going with a moment. And then next thing you see her more calm. And that is someone, I mean, that it's just the parents shouldn't have to go through that, but because they love her, they want the best for her. So that was like, man, I'm breaking the rules, I'm breaking the law, but I'm also doing it for my daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing because there's people that have back problems that now they used to be prescribed painkillers, and now they just prescribe miracle marijuana. So there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons. Another thing that I heard is like, say, decriminalization helps on reducing the arrests, especially on minority communities. But I mean, that's also hasn't gone well in states that have it, and there's a huge reason why. One thing that, like, say, when we look at marijuana, like it's a boost for the economy. You have dispensaries, you build jobs, you have the greenhouses, they're legal, and you sell it. You don't have to worry about. All you have to worry about is being up speed with your insurance permits and everything has to do with taxes.
Yeah, taxes.
So, I mean, when I got married in Vegas, we went to, what was it?
Dispensary.
A dispensary to check it out, and I mean the money that people would spend there, $500.
It's a lot easy. Yeah.
But it was people that have money,
Right.
people that can pay for that, that product in there.
Yeah.
And
And it's expensive because they gotta pay taxes.
they gotta
Obviously.
pay taxes. Right.
Versus the
Legal.
black market.
Way,
The black markets, illegal markets of marijuana, where maybe it could be a different price value, and also maybe it could be a different potency, right? Because that's at the end of the day, once it's made legal, it's made into like a capitalist industry.
Yes.
Where what they're selling is THC, and they'll try to get the highest potency by whatever means necessary, by fertilization, by pesticides, by greenhouses that are perfect, that make things grow out of the natural realm. It's like that old saying goes, like, this is not your grandpa's weed anymore, like this is different, this is gonna hit you.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to look at, man. Like some of the videos you shared with us earlier today are things that I hadn't thought about with some of the areas in California, some of the natural parks where they're growing things illegally, just to do it outside of the market, to not have to cut some of their profit to taxation, but also to, just because that barrier between entry, licensing, starting the legal side of the business sometimes doesn't give the profit necessary for like a single investor, someone coming at it from a small business side.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those businesses are running in the red or
Right.
having trouble succeeding. So when you have a regulated market and you have an illegal market, there's going to be some things that fall through the cracks where what you're getting on the illegal market might not be what you think you're getting.
Mhm.
So it's hard.
My question is, for example, in Mexico, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of things going on over there that really here we don't really hear about it, but it's because they're smuggling, legal drugs over here, right?
Mhm.
Do you think if it would become legally to have like grow marijuana here, do you think that would change over there?
Man, here's the one thing that I would. It was just because I feel like marijuana is so local. I mean, you can't be in Texas and order marijuana by mail.
Right.
So it would just be a benefit for the U.S. It would decrease the demand of what's coming in from Mexico. Unless there's probably special permits where you can import and export, and then pay a tariff. But it'll be a completely different good to import, and that's gonna put it in a different category. Now, for the Mexican side, how much money they would make, it would be very minimal because of the tariffs that they'll have to pay. I mean, even with China, when the Trump tariffs happened, like I heard some industries were, having to pay so much more than what they used to pay. So I think
what you're saying in reality is it's gonna be beneficial for the U.S. than Mexico.
The U.S. local market. But here's the one thing that in the U.S. that's going on. It's harder for the minorities to acquire those type of licenses compared to businesses that are already established that can pay for licenses. And let's say marijuana is in California, for example. There's several counties where it is illegal to sell it and grow it. So then there's this illegal greenhouses that are built in the desert valley, and the black market prices are cheaper and they're more potent, like you said, but they're a lot more. How do you say it? Whenever you have that product that's more potent and cheaper, people are gonna pay for it, and there's no tax involved. So all the money that goes straight to the dealer or whoever they use as a third party to get the deal done.
So they're still gonna lose money, you're saying?
Yeah, but like say for us, because of the taxes, the licenses are too high. I mean, just to get into that market and be profitable, it's gonna be hard for minorities because one, do you have $10,000 to pay for a license to open up a dispensary?
Obviously not. But so you're saying they have to be regulated better?
Oh, I think it's regulated, but it's kind of ambiguous in which county regulates it and kind of prohibits the sale of it.
Because the U.S. regardless is gonna try to make money right now.
The U.S. is gonna try to make money as long as the revenue taxpayer comes in. I mean, that's what matters at the end of the day. But I think how much benefit it will be for anyone that can afford a business and maintain it is going to be okay because they know how to work that business.
Right.
I think the not so beneficial part is going to be for the minority communities because they can't afford to upkeep a business like marijuana or even compete with the black market. Now it's just a lot of the times it's just like the counties, for example, they go do raids and they're gonna take away maybe a batch, but then they already have enough supply to where they can regrow that batch in the future. And it could be because of pesticides and other chemicals, it can be a lot more quicker growth than in the past. but it's just, it's, yes, it is beneficial for some, but then again, instead of trying to bring in and try to, fade out the racial disparity, I think it's actually making it more wider because of capitalism.
That's what I was gonna say. Well, that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely the barrier of entry for like a small market person, someone coming from a small business side, is going to be too high. So
yeah,
you resort to other means, to the black market side, or to a side where you use those pesticides, you use those things that are kind of against regulation, because you're trying to make the most out of the least, because that's all you have.
Right.
And that's the thing. That's been the story of so many types of businesses and things in the U.S. And kind of going back to your question, David, do I think legalization will decrease the violence in Mexico and other countries?
No,
I don't think so at all, because from what I've seen time and time again, criminal organizations are always 2-3 steps ahead of the law.
Right.
So
they have.
If you legalize marijuana, you legalize this, maybe you put a dent in it, but cartels, organizations will find something else that they profit of that isn't legal, such as fentanyl and these other
cocaine and
opioids that are a huge issue, and that have huge addictions in the U.S. And the U.S. honestly is the biggest consumer of every type of illegal drug.
Yes.
So
I think the biggest consumer of everything in the world.
Energy,
we all are, like, literally we all
oil,
right.
Bigger companies.
Yeah. But but yeah, it's just, man, it's a market that, I mean, you can have some potentials for benefit, but it's just, it can also be not enough benefit for people that can't afford it to come inside. And another thing is just, I mean, from what I've seen and what I've heard, like, say, there was this article that was released in Denver a couple years ago, where the reason why, it's working out for some states is because at the end of the day, the minority groups are the ones that are paying for that product more than the how do you call it? So groups that have a little more of a benefit, like a privilege.
So saying that whoever is consuming it the most is people that's buying it. Right.
Well, I mean, people that buy it is already the consumer. But the people that like lower minorities, like,
They're sure. So you're saying that the lower minority is the people that consume
the most. Yeah, okay. Right.
That's what I'm.
But then again, that was a couple of years ago. I don't know what it is now after the pandemic. I mean, it'll be good to talk about and touch this subject again. Sorry, but what man, it's just because.
Speaking of consumption, can you talk to us about what we're consuming here?
Yeah,
we are consuming.
We're drinking coffee. I have coffee here.
This is Starbucks. How do you call it? Reserve something.
Hop Squad
Brown Ale.
Anything
6.2.
Anything alcoholic. Nothing. This is
man.
What do you even call this size?
That's a growler.
Esta es la bazooka para el que
es el que le gusta a David.
It's more than a tall boy, bro. That's a big boy.
Hop Squad had I think, when this episode was, we thought about this episode, I checked on their social. Shout out to Hop Squad, but I checked on their social media, and they're having a sale on dark ales because it's gonna get cold. And I was like, you know what? It was for one of those. Guess how much it cost? $5.
$5.
What?
That's it. So I got 3 of them. I'm like, you know what?
That's literally 3 beers.
That's literally 3 beers. So I mean, literally, we're over here like struggling with finishing one.
You're right. I'm looking like them, like this, like.
But yeah, man, I really wish the whatever benefits from legalizing marijuana could be a step towards, decriminalization at the end of the days. I mean, outside of money, human lives are more important, and when you continue to put people in jail for having whatever amount of marijuana. I mean, I'm not saying like small amounts, but it's just it's a lot more costly to the society and a lot more costly to the state, but it benefits the private, imprisonment.
The private sector, because
Right,
we have
right.
a
So they're paying for whoever is in jail for that.
Oh, you might have more people in jail in the private sector. You
Right.
may make more money.
Right.
yeah, for
right,
sure.
right, right.
So what's on the ballot this upcoming election?
Man, I
What do we
think
have?
just decriminalization, I believe.
Mm.
I might be wrong. I might be right, but I would say,
I got you.
you got me. I mean,
got you.
you got the community. You don't have to get me.
I got the community.
There you go. But I think it'd be good to to think about like the real benefits of legalizing marijuana before anything, because
For sure.
it for some people it's a luxury, and some people want to do it. I mean, for us, it's kind of like a luxury because we're in a little more stable status, financial status.
Yeah.
But there's people out there that are not, and they're the ones that are continuing to always be the ones that have some kind of damage in their community. And I really hope that if it ever gets legal in Texas, which I'm pretty sure right now, if they're a little more soft-hearted about that it's gonna switch to, one is taking away all those, taboos, something that taking away the negative connotation about marijuana, because it's not a bad substance. It's not a,
And that's what we have from it. Like, we think it's bad. Like I said, when we were young, we thought that this
right.
this was gonna really kill you, but in reality, it's proven that it's doing really good for illnesses,
Right.
So
Chronic pain,
Yeah.
anxiety,
Yeah.
epilepsy,
yeah, there's
You know, cancer cancer
yeah.
treatment patients. Like
Mhm.
just so much benefits out there.
Yeah, man.
Cola pain for
Cola.
you.
I don't know what that is. Can you explain?
Yeah,
Has it happened to you in the past?
That's what I
Tus
said. I call you
hemorrhoides?
out.
But yeah, man, I don't know anything you guys want to add to this talk about marijuana.
I just want to have people to open their mind and kind of learn a little bit about it, because like when we grew up, like I said, like I was giving my story, it's like it's a bad thing for you. That's exactly what they tell you, and in reality, like we just said, it can help you with some illnesses. And at the end of the day, it's not really bad for you. It can help you, as a human being. And we just need to open our mind and kind of learn a little bit more about this herb, because that's what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's la planta,
Yeah, plenty.
and we just gotta learn about it, and that's how we learn things,
For sure. For me, I'd just like to give a shout out to everybody in high school that kind of opened my mind a little bit to it, kind of introduced me to it, and my college buds and the people that are still in my life today that have shown me in a very inviting and kind of open environment what it's like, what it is, and how it can help, and how it's really not that big a deal.
Yeah,
It is not.
How you can be a very functioning, contributing person in this society, be an example in the community, and do great things, and it's not that negative thing that we were told when we were kids, that's something that will destroy your life. And thanks to all those people out there. Y'all know who y'all are. And before we forget, you've probably seen the sign up here, the Otra Por Favor sign. Shout out to Alfonso.
Alfie, babe.
Alfie, hooking it up.
Can we get a black one?
The man came through with the graphics, so we appreciate it. We appreciate what you've done for us, and thanks, man.
Right. And man, just like, I do appreciate this talk. It's for some people, I think the more you inform people, the more they're gonna feel less negative about certain things, and we're touching subjects that for our community is hard to talk about. Sex is one of them.
Yeah.
Marijuana is another one.
Yeah.
The talk with Irma helped on, I did hear some people say, you know what, should be more sexual than what I am right now.
I mean, hopefully we get Irma soon, and we can explain a little bit more, and we can visual whatever she's like explaining to us better if we get it to like have her again on another episode. In the future. But I just want to say, be a little bit more open-minded. I mean, especially if you don't know, you can't really like close yourself to something.
Mm-hmm.
Learn a little bit about it, and then decide.
Right.
Like yes, no, whatever you decide, people's gonna respect it. But at least give it the opportunity to experience, something different. And obviously here we haven't really explained what marijuana is. Because I don't know if you can really explain it. You have to really try it, I guess.
I'll tell you what, if we Google it right now, we'll be able to find it. But I think,
but
it's just like we already know what it is. We already know what it looks like. But I think it will be okay if you try it once.
Right.
Just to take away all the negative connotation behind it. Yeah. I think that I would say I would like for someone to have a little more open-minded, and not because it worked for one person, it should work for the other person.
Right, obviously not.
It's never going to be like that. And I think there's a lot more benefits from this plant compared to, any other drugs and, in quotations. But yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
There you go. Yeah, you guys want to add anything else to this episode?
Yeah, just because something is a law or something is against the law, there's a different sense of right and wrong. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's my last takeaway. This country has had many laws, and a lot of them have been straight up wrong. So come to things with an open mind. Continue to question things. Continue to be curious, and try to inform yourselves as best as possible. That's one of our biggest goals here at Otra Por Favor.
Read.
So with that, I'll leave you guys, and thanks for listening. And please continue to share this podcast with your friends and family. You can find us on Instagram, Spotify, Facebook, all these platforms. Let us know in the comment section, or send us a DM. Slide into the DMs. It's not a problem. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know if you have any questions. Let us know if you have any comments. And cheers.
Hit us up and se portan bien, raza.
Ya saben, aquí estamos. Gracias.
Cuídense.